Release the mould well with Vaseline or a mould release spray. Wax and epoxy parfilm sprays work well, but Vaseline should do the trick. Cap plastic is usually supplied as a thick concentrate, and it needs thinning with solvent. When using cap plastic, ensure you take precautions to avoid inhaling the fumes. I'm using Super Bally's cap plastic, which is thinned with 99% alcohol. Most cap plastics use acetone as a solvent, so check with your supplier which is correct for you. I use 2 parts solvent to 1 part cap plastic if painting it on with a brush. If airbrushing it on, it needs to be thinner, so I use 4 parts solvent to 1 part cap plastic. Brush or spray the mixture thinly all over right up to the edge of the mould. It needs approximately 3 or 4 coats of cap plastic, allowing each layer to dry before applying the next. You can use a blow dry to speed up the process. When the cap plastic is dry, check its thickness by picking and lifting up an edge using a pin. If it has any obvious holes, simply add a few more layers. Once the cap plastic is done, measure out and mix the required amount of silicone for the mould you're running. Pour the silicone into the mould and smooth it over the mould surface. Then, using a straight edge utensil such as a plastic scraper, carefully wipe the back of the mould. You want to press as firmly as you can without peeling up the cap plastic layer. You may need to scrape a couple of times to get the fine edges necessary, but you'll know when you've done it right, as there should be a dry border around each piece where there's no silicone at all. You can see this more easily if you use a lamp to create a reflection on the mould surface like this. Use a cotton swab if necessary to clean the edges. As soon as the silicone has set, apply a few thin layers of cap plastic over the back of the piece, again going right up to the edge of the mould itself. Leave the cap plastic to dry and apply talcum powder to the back. Carefully peel the appliance out of the mould, talking the inside as you go. Once the piece is peeled out, trim off the excess cap plastic and leave the thin border of silicone attached. You are now ready to apply your piece. To cast gelatine appliances, simply melt your gelatine until it can be poured into the moulds, taking care not to boil it and causing bubbles. Take sensible precautions to avoid injury when using molten gelatine, such as wearing heatproof gloves. Quickly wipe the back of the moulds as before to scrape away the excess, using a flat-edged utensil. Like the silicone, there should be a clear border around each